Hi everyone. Today we're going to continue with natural disasters for Module 3. We're going to finish our text, Quaking Earth, Racing Waves by Rachel Young. Our learning target today is I can synthesize my thinking of earthquakes and tsunamis from what I have read. So when we're synthesizing our thinking, you're going to be changing your ideas as you form new ideas. So think back at when we were starting to prepare to read. What was something that you knew about earthquakes, about what happens after a large earthquake or during a large earthquake? Think about what you have learned so far in the text. And then we're going to synthesize that information to have a new understanding. By the end, what are you thinking and why? So I am on page 212 in the text. Safe for now. People in Tello were lucky. Their island was more than 200 miles from the epicenter of the quake, the most powerful point. On Tello, during the quake, the earth shook, but not violently. Later, a small tsunami, 3 to 6 feet high, swept through the village, flooding houses. People were shaken and scared, but unharmed. As he traveled to the other islands he'd visited in July, Say was relieved to hear the same story. Few homes had been destroyed, and no lives were lost. But danger still lurked. An earthquake on one section of a fault can increase stress along the rest of the fault. And the thousands of miles of the Sunda megathrust fault that hadn't ruptured in December were still ripe for another quake. Sure enough, another earthquake took an area to the south on March 28th. This quake was 10 times less powerful than the one in December, yet it was still the second biggest quake to rock the world in 40 years. Again, Say's friends escaped harm, but the quakes were proof that what the scientists had said was true, and they convinced some islanders to take action. Today, on the island of Samuk, many people have left their homes near the shore and have rebuilt their town at the island's highest point, the hill where Say erected his GPS station. Their modified town is better prepared for tsunamis. Quakes also provided Say with a lot of work to do. On Sumatra, the rising continental plate pushed up vast stretches of beach that had been underwater. We saw thousands of dead corals, Say said. He looked at data from the GPS stations to find out exactly how the nearby islands moved during the quakes. And if we look at these photographs, on page 212, we see destruction after the 2004 earthquake and tsunami in Indonesia. And then on page 213, we see destruction after the 2004 earthquake and tsunami in Indonesia. So you can tell that there used to be many buildings on these islands, and this is what is left of them. As they traveled the islands by boat and helicopter, Say and his colleagues explained why earthquakes and tsunamis happen and what people can do to prepare. They can build their houses out of lightweight wood or bamboo rather than heavy concrete, which would cause more damage if it toppled during a quake. They can move their villages away from the beach or build pathways to higher ground. Say doesn't know exactly when or where it will hit, but he's certain another big quake is coming along the section of the fault south of Tello. Until it does, he'll try to understand as much as he can about why and how the Earth moves. And he'll teach the people who live nearby about the danger that lurks under the waves. Students cover their heads during an earthquake drill in Indonesia. And an official talks to students during an earthquake and tsunami drill in Indonesia. So you're going to be thinking about, what did you start out knowing about earthquakes? And as we read the story, what did you add to that understanding? And what are you thinking about earthquakes and tsunamis now that we've read the text?